Welcome to the Lunch and Learn video series brought to you by the Gateway Down Syndrome Association. Today we welcome Leslie Johnson from the Barron Swim School. Leslie will introduce their Swim Abilities program and share the benefits of swim lessons and water safety education for all ages.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's Lunch and Learn. We're very grateful to have you here, and hopefully this session will spark some new ideas and connections. So today's Lunch and Learn features Leslie Johnson, the Swim Abilities Department Leader with Barron Swim School. So we'd like to get started today with a video.
Welcome to Barron Swim School. We offer high-quality swim lessons in the St. Louis area. Our main focus and priority at Barron Swim School is to teach our students and community to be safer in and around the water. Our swim lessons go from parent-taught, which is 6 months, all the way up to an in-house swim team. Our curriculum is based off of water safety and progresses to stroke development, endurance, and efficiency in the water. Our student-to-teacher ratio is 4:1 for all of our independent classes from our entry level to our advanced level, and a 6:1 ratio for all parent-taught classes. At Barron, we offer an exclusive Ribbons and Stars evaluation program that allows our teachers to evaluate each student's progress each week. We update each student's skills through the customer portal online on a regular basis. Our teachers go through an extensive training program in order to become independent with any class. Every teacher is CPR certified and first aid certified. This was such an important and serious project, and we wanted to make sure that we were the best of the best in the St. Louis area. We visited 54 swim schools in the States and Australia to make it the best environment and atmosphere for a child to learn to swim. We are deeply involved with the U.S. Swim School Association, and we believe we built a one-of-a-kind facility. The parents are comfortable in our viewing area behind the viewing glass, while the children are in the pool area, comfortable in the 91-degree air and 90-degree water. When the students complete their 30-minute lesson, they go into our on-deck showers. They will then go into our state-of-the-art family change room. The change room is kept at 80 degrees for the comfort of the parents and the students to keep them warm. We believe in chlorine over saltwater due to the amount of kids that we have and the ages kids we have at Barron Swim School. Our UV system kills 99.9% of the bacteria, which allows us to use a light amount of chemicals. It makes our pool drinking quality water. The UV system makes it so there's no red eye or skin irritation for any child. Our pump system turns over 54,000 gallons every 90 minutes, which is much quicker than most commercial pools. Our tagline at Barron Swim School is building skills for life. We believe we are not only giving the child the gift of being safer in and around the water, but we are allowing them to be more comfortable in any water activities that they enjoy for the rest of their life.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for letting me join you all today. Like Linda said, I am Leslie Johnson. I'm the Swim Abilities Leader at Barron Swim School. I started with them in 2017 when they opened their South County location, and did just regular group lessons. My background has been always doing something with kids. For 22 years, my husband and I owned the Little Gym of South County. We were with the Little Gym, which is a non-competitive gymnastics center. And then once I kind of was done with that, I went into the special school district and did the resource room and supported an ESP program, which is no academics. It's how to self-regulate, calming strategies, how to support kiddos through anger management, things that are just going on in their world. And then I also was an ABA provider minutes through the different elementary schools in Melville. While I was doing that, unfortunately, my husband was diagnosed with brain cancer. So I did take some time off, and unfortunately he fought for 2 years and lost. And I wanted to get back into the schools. And all along, I'm still teaching swim and whatnot. So I joined the Parent Educators Program because within that time, I had created swim abilities at Barron. I created the program in 2019 with a kiddo that was in my group lesson that happened to be in my school. And after the group lesson, I knew in my gut that group lessons were not going to be the best for this child. So I just offered to do a private just to see if it was different or if it was best for him. And so we did, just to kind of see. And they never looked back. And then they had a friend, and then they had a friend, and so on. So to date, I have 64 kiddos in the program. I have 50 of those myself. And then I have an instructor at South County that has a few kiddos. And then we just brought on another instructor that will be doing classes at the O'Fallon location starting in June. And then I have one that joined me at Baldwin. So the majority of the program now is at the Baldwin location, which is their new location that has dance, gymnastics, ninja, and swim. The pool is awesome. Primarily, I moved it because of space. A lot of the kiddos that I've had for a while, so they got bigger. They've progressed in their skills, so I'm not sharing water. So we decided to move swim abilities out there, kind of for that reason, but have it dribbled in all the locations just because there's such a need for it. So as I'm sure you are all aware, drowning is popular, unfortunately. It is one of the leading cause of death. Drownings are the leading cause of death in kiddos with autism. And when we look at kiddos to swim, we always say they may not learn the same way, but every child can learn to swim. And it's not, yes, we want them to have fun and enjoy the water, but first and foremost, they have to be safe. They have to know what to do in the water. If they would follow a friend, think a toy was close, but it was really on the bottom. So because of the being in the school and kind of teaching kids, whether it's with First Then or visuals or timers, I started doing that with kiddos that group just wasn't the best fit for them. And that's kind of, where I just kind of started with it. And then as it's continued to grow, I speak on, why everyone should know what to do in the water and be safe in the water. But there's really not a lot out in our world that can help kiddos, autism, Down syndrome, anxiety of the water, no fear of the water, but have no idea what to do if they would get in the water. They love the water, but the safety of it, they don't know what to do. So we talk a lot, especially this kind of time of year, but all year long, a little bit on water safety. And, just kind of reminding parents and families and caregivers, as here we come summer, some of the things to do. So they always will talk about the 5 barriers of drowning to prevent it. And basically education is key. We talk about if you have a pool, 4 feet fence all the way around, alarms on the gate, an alarm that ties into your house that is somebody's going near the pool. We will talk about if you have the little kind of, blow up play pools. Once you're done with that, empty them. Don't leave it out. Oh, they're going to go after dinner. Empty it out. We will talk about that, in 30 seconds, a kiddo can drown silently. And you're thinking, okay, 30 seconds, I can react, I can move, but that's, can happen. We talk about, if a kiddo you're at a little play date or a family barbecue, and if somebody's like, oh, where's Bobby? And nobody, you can't see him, you don't know where he is. Somebody if there is a pool, go to the pool first. Or split up, somebody go to the street, but definitely go to the pool first. They are, especially, so many kids are drawn to the water. Those are the places that you want to check first. It's definitely a plus if somebody in the party is CPR or first aid trained. However, that's not always the case. You've got somebody dialing 911. One of the main tools that we have, and they're available, and I can get them to Linda, I can get them for you, we call this our water watcher tag. And all it is somebody that's at a pool party, family reunion, family vacation with relatives or neighbors or whatnot, is that when you look at these kind of events, it is you have 2 kids, your friend has 3 kids, the neighbor has 2, and all these kids are in the water. Well, are you assuming that an adult is watching them? Maybe. But this person, and you just, decide on the time, whether it's 10 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever the case might be. But an adult is wearing this and they walk the pool. They're not on their phone. You don't talk to them when they pass you. They strictly are watching the pool. And then after 10 minutes or so, they pass it on. And you look at that as, okay, everybody's going to have their kid being watched by someone. You still have plenty of time to socialize and have fun, but somebody's eyes are on that pool at all time, and you just take turns. You all brought kids. You want your kiddos safe. We want all the kids safe. Everybody take a turn. But when we know that somebody has this on, or somebody that, hey guys, I'm gonna walk the pool, don't stop them and say, oh, hey, did you see that date for Six Flags or so? You literally don't talk to them. They ask somebody, hey, here's my phone. If it rings, and you look that it's one of my older kids or something, go ahead and pick it up, or just, I'll get out of it when I'm done. But they don't have their phone even in their hand. From this, also the point that if they would have to jump in, they don't have their phone on them. So we do talk about these very much. And when they think about it, we've had parents say, gosh, I didn't even think about it. We can all take 10 minutes, but if there's, 8 adults, then you're just sharing, you're taking turns. So again, I have these. I can get them to them or get them to Linda or whatnot. The other thing is doing swim lessons. We have just kind of got some new information that from pediatricians and researchers, that once a diagnosis is set, and it can be for any child, but once a diagnosis of autism, Down syndrome, anxiety, sensory, all the things are diagnosed, they suggest swim lessons right away. I have itty bitties that sometimes do a little bit better that with somebody else other than mom, just because, but it's, it's never really too soon, as you saw in the video. Now we actually start at 4 months. If somebody's like 4.5, 5 months, we're not telling them to wait. Oh, wait till you're 6 months. They'll bring them in. Because even some floating skills and swim skills can, decrease drowning over 80%. Even if your kiddo just flips himself over and then somebody is jumping in, but that flip over, their face is head up. So we want to get those habits into them right away. We will talk about, and I do this with all my kiddos all the time. And as I start with somebody, I always tell parents, first couple classes, it looks like I'm playing with them. And I am, because I have to build that rapport first. I have to build that trust first. They can think, well, gosh, my feet are off the ground. I don't know who you are. Are you going to keep me safe? So I do a lot of just kind of water buckets down their back or down their arm. I am not going to take a water bucket and see, oh, do you like water? Well, let's see. You don't want to go that way. But we'll play games. Hey, watch me. Or, oh my gosh, you did that so well. I don't think I remember how to do that. Can you show me? Those kind of things. So I have to build that rapport and that trust first. Then we'll go into, and it's primarily safety. Yes, our kiddos are in swim lessons to learn skills. And as they get older and even go to team, they're doing freestyle. They're doing breaststroke, backstroke, all the strokes. I do not focus on that right away. Now, depending on who I have, but if somebody is brand new, I have to see that they can be safe in the water and they know what to do in the water. So I am all safety first. You are floating, which is a swim skill. You are using your legs and kicking to get to the side, which is a swim skill. You're using your arms. So yes, they're swimming, but I'm not telling parents, hey guys, this week it's all about freestyle, or oh, this week is all about backstroke. I don't care about strokes until I know that child can be safe. Then we'll get a little bit more. Okay, you know what? You're really doing well with safety. You're using your arms and legs. Now, can we go a little farther? So it can progress. And I have kids that are doing that. I have kids that, are swimming. So it can happen, but that's not my first priority. It's safety is the first priority. Swim abilities is designed as primarily one-on-one. So it is private lessons. Some of my older kids right now that have been with me for a while, I have created what we call buddy classes. So there's just two and myself, but that means that they know how to stay on the bench. They are following my directions, whether even if it's short directions. And now we're kind of incorporating some social skills. Cheer your friend on. We don't laugh if they don't know how to kick. Waiting your turn. And then they have that little friend that they look for every week. And I will have some that, somebody's not feeling well or on vacation. The other one is asking where their buddy is. So that helped kind of from a socialization kind of thing as well. We will use, like I said, visuals, timers, first then. That's a common one. I will, depending again, I try to match anything how they learn at school and at home in the water. I can't really, only thing I can't really kind of use is their talkers. I'm on a lot of them where, oh, it's swim time, we're going to see Miss Leslie, but mom takes the talker out just because I can't promise it won't get wet. But everything else I find a way to do in the water. Modeling. They sometimes will have kiddos that, they have their preferred and their non-preferred. Well, I'll take out, skills that I want them to do and skills that I want to start working on, but I know isn't their favorite. And depending on who it is, and yes, I have 30 minutes, I'll leave out the pictures and they can put them in the order they want to put them in. They can do all the things they don't want to do first and be done with them. Some will think, okay, we're going to run out of time. Miss Leslie's going to forget and put them at the end. Some do one they like, one they don't, but they buy into it a little bit more because they made their lesson. Okay, I hear that you don't want to do this today. I hear you don't want to do this. Here's what we are going to do. Which way do you want to do them? You decide how your lesson is going to go. And they feel a little bit more in control. A lot of times I will do the first a skill, and then whether it's for a minute, 30 seconds, somebody loves to go underwater. That is common. Okay, we finished our kicking, go underwater 3 times. You've done 2, you have 1 more. So I will cater to what is best for them, knowing that we still want to get some things done. So visuals, we give anytime that somebody joins us, and this is even in group, because we do have kiddos that are in group lessons that are not the fondest of water, and they let us know. We have some screamers and criers and stuff on their first lesson. So we have a social story, and it's designed about how their lesson is going to go, but it's also designed that you put the teacher's name in there, just so they match it to, I'm going to see so-and-so. So we find that this is helpful, that they can kind of put it to whoever they have. In my case, it's me. But just, and I'll say, have it part of bedtime. Definitely do it the night before, they have swim. So we will use social stories as well. We also, I've sat on the side for weeks with a kiddo that just is getting water on their arms, on their legs. I've had kiddos that they jump in all the time. So it's now teaching them when Miss Leslie says 3, I'm ready. So doing that cue. One of the first things that I will teach them, and I do ask families to follow this, like at bath time or shower, or if they're going to grandma's to swim, is we want to teach the kiddos to ask permission to get in the water. And that may look like when they sit at the water, they go head, shoulders, knees, and toes. They may clap, stomp, but I just make up whatever comes out on a given day, but they're stalling time that if they're not supposed to be by the water, they just stalled that instinct of going in. So I will say, you know what, when it's bath time, instead of just getting in the bath, please ask them, can I get into the bath? So still asking for permission to get in any type of body of water. That is a easy thing for them to do. They think they're doing a little song. You can make it fun, but the time that it can save can be very, very valuable. Less seconds before they actually head on in. We will talk about doing baths at home. They are putting out that we don't let even older siblings. And when I say older siblings, somebody that has a 12 or 13-year-old, they're babysitting, have the bath done, or it's not bath night. Not letting them, because they go start the water, or they go and get their jammies or whatever. And now that water is filling up. They climb in the water, they hit their head, or they go straight down. And again, it's second. So they will talk about, really parents, grandparents, primary caregivers doing bath time. We will talk about even with toys and that, put the toys away. So they're not like, oh, somebody else was taking a bath, or they know how to turn the water on, but their doll that they want to play with is now in the bathtub or in the bathroom. So they'll say remove, water toys. Obviously you want to let them dry it out, but it's drying out somewhere else. Don't leave them alone in the bathtub. And, they kind of have that 6 to 8 age. Don't leave them alone. Your kiddo, but if we're 3, and even though we can sit up and we're up, don't leave them alone in the water. Do not, empty bathtubs right away. Like I said, infant bath seats, don't leave them in. A lot of times and I did it, you turned them over so they got the water out and that. They do not even want bath seats flipped over into the tub, because they can flip that over and they can get into that pretty easily. And as a parent myself, I'm like, oh gosh, well, I did that. Oh yeah, I did that. But it's just when you think about it and you hear it, and now that I'm in this water safety world, it's like, oh yeah, that could have happened. I had my older one mine are 10 years apart. I had my older one I did it. But again, it's just, it's very common. And especially, with kiddos, of the kiddos that I have, the kids with special needs, it's just the dangerous, and the outcome is so much more likely than for somebody else. I will say, in National Autism Association, 160 times more likely to drown than kiddos in regular normal group lessons. They're drawn to water. They follow a friend. So it's not that they can't be in water and have fun. Yes, we want that. We want the socialization. We just have to really do some extra work for them to be safe. The other thing is, and I get a lot of of looks. So I know I can't see you, but I do get a lot of looks because we will talk about the almighty puddle jumpers that are out there. And I see thousands all summer long. And they come in Frozen and Paw Patrol and Cars and all the things. We do not recommend puddle jumpers. They are very close to being recalled, so to speak. And this is the reason why. Is this something better than nothing? Yes. Oh, Linda, I just lost you. Okay.
Can you see me?
Right. We're back. Sorry, guys. I didn't touch anything, so I don't know, but it could have been. So puddle jumpers, as you know, they're kind of like that bra look here, and then they have those two bubble arms right here. So, couple things. One, if a kiddo is tiny and they turn this way, they may not have their strength to turn themselves back, or if they turn. So they're very lopsided. They let kids, you'll see them kind of go like this while they're swimming. Well, they tend to, if the kiddo is moving and is strong enough and has a strong torso, they can go this way, but don't know how to come back. The other thing is we will know if somebody comes into swim lessons right away. Hey, let me see. What do you know how to do in the water? And they, you just want to see. They're like this because the puddle jumper does not let them do the full rotation. You see them swimming like this because that's how they can swim with those. Their legs can kick, so their legs aren't covered. So again, is it something versus nothing? Yes. Is it going to save your child? Not a high percentage of yes. Could it? Depending on how they went in. They want the life jackets that are the actual sleeveless. And then some little ones up until 3 will have the strap that go here. My infant one has that long strap. But obviously at the lake, fishing, boats, all that. But if you're going to have your kiddo in a life jacket for swim, and they have all the cute ones, you want to make sure it says somewhere that it's Coast Guard approved. Amazon has them and all the little different characters and things. But you want to see that it's Coast Guard approved. And that is that they have tested them. They are foamed all the way around, but their arms, you can teach them how to swim with one and you can teach them how to kick, but it is all the way around. So they're going to be even to float like this. And we'll teach them how to float on their belly because we want them to know how to turn over. It will keep them straight up this way because it's the same all the way around. So we want life jackets that are Coast Guard approved and the vest. Gosh, back in the day, we had, and some of you may remember, I had them, the water wings that had the 2 pillows. They were orange, you got orange ones and then you got fancy with little ones. Well, I remember my mom like, well, it's only the bottom one that popped. You still have 3 good ones. You're good. We had water wings and that's what saved us. So yes, we had those. And then we had and some people still have them. I use this item to teach with skills, but it's not on very long. The bubble in the back that had like the belt that went across. It was like a styrofoam bubble. Those went away quickly just because I use them to add some little bit of weight while I'm working with them on their belly. But when we use something like that, we're not allowed to use it more than like 4 or 5 minutes, and then it has to come off because I don't want them to get dependent on it, and it's not life-saving. It's just so I can move some of my kiddos I have that are in for muscle help and support. I've got some with CP, I've got some with CF, I've got 2 that have MS. So we're kind of safety, but also muscle. So for me to hold them, use their arms and legs. So I'll use some of those things like the bubble for that. And then infants, you'll see if you got littles up until like 2.5, 3, these are fine. It has the back pillow that will automatically just come out. So it's still the vest, but they have this back pillow. So if they go in the water and they turn over, they're going to float because some little ones will. And in our parent taught, that's the first thing that we teach them is how to get in and flip over. We do safety circles where all it is they're coming in, we're turning them, and they climb out. Well, their little hands sometimes can't grip for a little bit or they slip. We want them to know how to go on their back. Our baby, we want them to fall in and flip over just as an instinct. We always teach them how to monkey walk across the wall. And that's just if they can't get out. Somebody's going to come and help, but at least they're walking with their head up. We teach them how to re-grab. Again, all done in the ways that these kiddos can learn how to swim. And if it's just a matter of it's routine and we do it all the time, I had a phone call, not this past summer, the summer before, it was one of my moms. And I picked up and she's like, Miss Leslie, and I could tell she was crying. And she said, "Do you have a minute?" And I said, "Sure. What's up? Are you sitting down?" And I said, "No." She goes, "You have to. Please sit down." And I thought, oh boy, this is going. She had a little one with Down syndrome. And I said, oh, she goes, "You have to sit down." And I'm like, okay, this is going south really fast here. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready. She's like, "Well, your little friend." And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, oh, and I could just feel my stomach kind of going, oh, no. Well, was at grandma's, and grandma's neighbor had a pool, and grandma had some yard people doing some landscape, and they didn't close the gate. And she saw her doll that was in the water. And she went and got it. And because the gate wasn't closed and locked, the alarm wasn't set. So she went in. And then grandma at that time was running and saw her go in, so saw the whole thing. But while grandma got there, she fell in, she turned around, she was at the wall going, elbow, elbow, knee, knee, I am out because Miss Leslie taught me so. And then had her doll and walk. But that could have gone south so fast, such a different way. And I thought, okay, my job is done. If I teach them just a safety circle, then that's what I teach them. And when they are learning, you see kind of reliefs on parents' faces and just kind of that, oh, okay, what we can have fun. Because sometimes, the parent can't even enjoy vacation because you are like stuck, or you're assuming dad's watching or grandpa's, all the things. So that was the main, that's one of the main reasons that I wanted to have swimmability is there's not a lot of places around here that I am aware of. And we've done some snooping and searching. I'm not the best in sliced bread. I'm good because I have seen what kids can do. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing an okay job. But these kiddos group lessons are not the best for them. But by God, that doesn't mean they're not going to go into water. So we wanted to make sure that we had a program that we could work with them. I've been hit, I've been bit, I've been, kiddo going along and a trigger happened. I can deal with those. I tell families, please share what you want with me, but if it's going to help, I had a little boy that, I have toys in my box, and I have girl toys and I have boy toys and all the things. And he was not having the water. And I was like, look, let's go put all of our dinosaurs. Well, Mom forgot to tell me that dinosaurs is a trigger. So he's afraid of them. He does not like them. And she's like, oh my gosh, did you just pull out? And I said, yeah. And she's like, my fault, my fault. Can you make those disappear? And I'm like, whoa, dinosaurs went, really away quickly. But yeah, that might have been a little helpful. And she's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, not a big deal, but I wouldn't have gotten dinosaurs out. So I tell my parents, and as they're with me, and because I've had kids for so long, they will share, you know what, we just have been off today. A substitute was in their class, so it's a different phase. So I'll tweak that schedule of lesson for that. We may play a game at the beginning. We may do things a little different that's a little bit more calming and things like that. Because it just is. And we all have those days. They just have them in different ways sometimes. So swim abilities is so important because you see their smiles. I was telling Linda before y'all got on, Saturday we have a swim meet, and these are my kids in this swim meet. This past Saturday they just had all the team kids, but these kids have their swim meet. We don't have all the music, we don't have all the bright lights, we don't have the little blowhorn to start them. It is designed for them. Some make it down with swimming on their own. Some will go halfway and then we grab them so they can breathe a little bit. Some I just take down, but it's for them. We want them, to have the inclusion in Barron Swim School where they get the same medal that all the other kids do. We have the same safety week, which is coming up because of summer. I'll do some of the same things. I may just have to do it a little different. They will get life jackets on. I know I have two kiddos that once I put it on, we're on for the whole lesson, and so be it. But it's twice a week. We introduce water by their eyes when I know they're ready, because if they fall in 9 times out of 10, they're not going to have their goggles on. So I try to do all the things that they do. When they get a mat ride at the end of class, we get it. And again, it just depends on who I have. So I want to match what they're all doing out there. I just may have to match it a little differently. I teach in 2 and 3 words. They don't care that freestyle is going to look like this and they need to use their arm. They're not going to get the instructions that way. So, and I sometimes don't talk hardly at all. I have to use pictures or my body, or a lot of them now will say, is tonight where I get to teach you something? And I'll be like, yeah, but and I'll pick something that I know is not their favorite. Gosh, I've been trying to learn how to float. I just don't know how. And they're like, well, okay, you go on your back, and then they'll put their hand right here, or so sometimes they just need that control a little bit. And I didn't decide this is what we're gonna do. So it changes sometimes every week for some. We, and I tell my instructors that as I'm getting new ones is, first of all, a child is a child first. I do not teach my older kids the same way I teach my littles. As they get older and are able to know expectations a little different, they get a little deeper expectations. Okay, we still don't jump in, or if they're in a buddy, just because he or she wasn't kicking the right way, we're not laughing. That's unkind. In my buddy classes, they have to say 2 nice things a class to their buddy, whether it's, oh, you went really far, or you were trying so hard, or is that they have to say 2 nice things. They have to say hello, and they have to say goodbye. They know that at the end they'll get a couple of little extra minutes of kind of whatever the game is. If I don't have to remind them to be kind, if their friend gets in and they say hi, or so, if they're starting to do it without being reminded and prompted, they're doing it on their own. So I try to add, some social things as we get buddy classes. That was a whole lot of stuff. Yes, it's mainly is every child needs to know what to do in the water. Every child needs to be safe. And if I can teach them the way that is best, then that's what I'm going to do. We go through the same step of just today, let's just go up to our knees, wherever that is. Now, obviously, Barron's pools, they are 4 feet around everywhere. Some of my older kids, I will tell, and my taller kids, I will tell parents, it may look like I'm tripping them in the water when they come in. And I kind of am, because I want them to react to if they can't stand. So I am tripping them, but it's to feel their body. Oh my gosh, that bottom is far away. So with adults, it's a matter of getting them comfortable with the water, and we'll teach them how to hold their breath, how to breathe, how to blow bubbles. We'll even how to float. So it's some of the same things for kids that an adult needs to learn. If they, a lot of the pools, they'll be like 3, then they may go to 5, and then we're at like 7. And then some have, the 9, 10 feet, and it's on that hill. So all of a sudden they didn't know where that hill was, and now they're done. They're down under the water, and what's going to set in is a panic. So we will teach them the same. I will teach them how to climb out if there's no steps that are close. I will teach them how to hang on to a side. I will teach them how to, you may scrape your arms or your belly, but so what? Get out. Things like that. So a lot of it is just safety. And once we got them in water, and they can hold their breath, and they can blow bubbles, and they're not drinking, and they're not panicking, then we will teach them floating, and then just the basic movement of arms and legs to get to the side, or out to me, and maybe I don't know, 10 feet away. Can they put their feet down where I'm at? Yes. Some, if they actually want to learn how to swim, I will unfortunately recommend like the Y, or maybe their district, because of the depth of the pool. But if they are petrified of the water, I can teach that, because it's all the same thing. That adult does not want to be in deep water, and that you don't want to start them out in deep water. So we can. I have had some teenagers that we have worked on some stroke. That the ones that I had were primarily, we had some muscle issues. But if I can help them in what they need in a 4-foot, I'll give it a try. I have had people come in just like for a little eval and said, hey, what are we looking for? Some I've said, I can't do much. We're safe. We know how to blow bubbles. We know how to breathe. We just want to really learn how to swim. Go to where it's a little bit deeper, because they're like taller than I am, or things. But depending on if it's just being comfortable in the water, you can do that in the bathtub. We don't want adults drinking the water, as we don't want my drinkers. So I'll work on how to not drink the water, not intentionally. I mean, I have some that are intentionally drinking, but adults would know, okay, Miss Otzi doesn't want me to drink. Well, how do I not? If I'm so close to the water, what do I do? Well, you just, so depending on what they're looking for and how afraid they are of the water and what they want to learn, I will teach them how to save themselves and then save their child. Like I was telling you earlier, a lot of my parents, I will ask, anybody at home else know how to swim? I'll get, my husband, or I do, but my husband. And I have gotten frequently, no, we don't know how to swim. I could probably save myself, but I don't know how to save my child. That's why my child's in, and I'm like, okay, well, we've got 2. And I'm like, you can do this with them. I don't feel that I'm being unfun or the unfun teacher by saying, when you go to the pool in the summer, or go to grandma's, or go to a friend, 5 minutes before, review some safety. Remember, here are their sides. Do you remember how to get out? Show me how you're blowing bubbles. Do some of the things for like 5 minutes before they can go play. just to put those reminders in. Or I say, while they are playing, make some time that it's some swim thing. Hey, before we get out, or do you want to do it before? We've got 5-6 minutes that we're going to work on some things that you're learning at swim. It's 5 or 6 minutes, but it comes sometimes as a reminder. So, but yeah, from adults, it depends on kind of what they need. Some just because of the depth. Like I have gone to Melville's pool because I'm in Melville School District and met them because it's there and we're teaching how to tread water. I can do it in our pool, but it's hard, especially, it's not, I can do it because I'm short. I get somebody tall. It's just really hard. So anybody that is interested and want to inquire about swim abilities, you would go on to barronsportcenter.com and it will pull up ninja, dance, gymnastics, all the things, swim. You're going to go on swim and drop it down and go to swim abilities. And it will say request form and you put in your parent info, child, age, if they have a diagnosis, if they have sensory. That's going to go and it's going to say send to swim abilities. That's going to go straight to me. I get them all. And then I'll reach out and kind of, what kind of availability do you have? Now, obviously we're going into summer. And I have had some people, and I will start that yes, we don't have any spots kind of that after school evening. It changes though all the time because I make buddies or, somebody's therapy schedule change or whatnot. I have kids that, yes, they're just right now, they're going to be in just for summer because I'm out of school. So I flex a little bit, but that doesn't mean they'll stay come school year. But I look at it and I tell them, hey, it's 3 months versus nothing. Get in, something may open up. So I will reach out as soon as I get it. And then, just kind of see where their availability. And I tell parents, if you're available Monday through Thursday, Friday, I want it all because somebody that says, well, I've got Wednesday from 5 to 6:30. Well, that basically kind of gives me 3 spots that on one day versus, hey, I'll go any day. So it's easier just to get it all because I never know where something's going to open. But yes, barronsportcenter.com, swim abilities. And it will go straight to me.
Again, I want to share a big thank you, Leslie, also to Barron Swim School for allowing you to be here and present for us today. Also, a shout out to our intern, Emma, who is also a swim instructor at Barron and has been for the past 5 years. So thank you to each one of you for being here.